Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, what do we do in this webinar? This is an intro to Bookmap. So we define what Bookmap is, who uses it, how to connect it, how to subscribe to it, some different resources for your education, and then we jump into the live order flow. We define the elements on the Bookmap chart so you understand what you're looking at, and then we start to analyze the order flow, some of the basics. Okay. Now that said, this is the basic education or part of it, or there's an advanced education for subscribers. Okay, you've moved beyond that basic education and some of the platform details. So then you're starting to look at order flow details, and we do that with the educational course that's available. And then there's also advanced order flow webinars every day that go through the same course content. They start at 11 a.m. Eastern. And we really go through the details there to understand what we're looking at and on all sorts of time frames, high and low, and as well as different instruments, etc. So really understanding the details there in the order flow, as many examples as we can, so that you guys can learn about it from the educational course and then see it in the live market every day, and then due to an analysis, a very objective process, then you can start to anticipate future price movement, okay? Because that's what we do in that webinar. We read it and we look for the advantage, and then we think, okay, well, due to this, we think price is going to go there. All right, so let's move on and get into the website and scroll down a little bit. So what is Bookmap? We're a software trading platform. We have a very unique way of visualizing the market data. That's the strength and the advantage that you're going to get using Bookmap. Very precise data. Who uses Bookmap? Okay, well, let's first define where we came from. We came from this quant HFT environment. Bookmap was developed to understand how our trades were getting filled when we were developing algos. Okay, so it was for ourselves, and then we thought this is pretty unique. This is an advantage for others. Let's make a platform. So we did, and Bookmap is the result. The beauty here is that the same market phenomena that we see on very, very low sub-second timeframes is all recorded, and it also works on much higher timeframes. I can show you several examples. Therefore, Bookmap is good for quants and algos, but also for swing traders, position traders, scalpers, and day traders, all sorts of timeframes, because all of the order book data is recorded, as well as all the transactions. Okay. All right, connectivity. So Bookmap connects to 3 different types of markets: futures, US equities, and digital currencies like Bitcoin. Now, that Bitcoin data from different currencies is free, or different exchanges, it is free. Okay, so you won't need to provide the data there. But for US equities and futures, you will need to provide the data. We're not a data provider, okay? We're not a broker. We're just a software package, okay, that's independent of data. Right, so you will need to bring in the data. For equities, you will need to first subscribe to Bookmap, then you need to subscribe to DXFeed. Okay, that's how you connect it. Then we also have, for futures, many different ways to connect. Okay, we have Rhythmic, CQG, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ Feed, Nanotick, and Cedro. You can also connect via the API of 3 different other platforms. Okay, TTX Trader Pro, NinjaTrader, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. All right, so let's move on. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy to go through the details regarding connecting Bookmap or defining what it is, etc. Here's how you subscribe. Okay, so you can subscribe monthly, you can subscribe yearly and get a 20% discount, or you can purchase for lifetime. Okay, when you click on the tab, all the prices are updated down here. Let's look at some of the monthly options here and go through the different packages. Okay, there's a digital package and 2 global packages. The digital package is free. It connects to only one digital currency. The data is free. Those markets are always open. So you've got a free, fully functioning copy of Bookmap with one digital currency. Okay. Now, if you want access to U.S. equities or futures, then you will need to go with the global version. Okay, and it's $49 per month. In addition to that, you can get the Global Plus one. And that includes all of our add-on indicators like large lot tracker, the iceberg detector, imbalance, 2 different imbalance indicators, etc. Okay, so all sorts of stuff here. Let's continue on. Let's see here. Oh, okay, some testimonials here, but then we'll go to some more education here for Bookmap and further resources. Click on blog, all sorts of information here. There's also our Twitter page, and we go through some of the trades, etc., or all sorts of information here that you'll see. Okay, this is from a advanced order flow webinar, for example. Okay, let's click on this one. This is what we do. This is what I mentioned earlier about anticipating price movement. Okay, so here on this tweet here, we drew in these big circles here to the right of the chart before they occurred, and looking for a breakout, and big volume dots is what we're looking for, right? So I drew in these dots here, and then we click here, and that's exactly what we saw, okay? So anyway, that's part of the process, and that's our Twitter page, okay? All sorts of great information here every day. All right, and then our YouTube page, all sorts of videos for furthering your education and knowledge about Bookmap. Here's our Pro Trader webinar series, different professional traders using Bookmap. Our intro videos here for those of you who are new, and then these order flow education videos I think you'll find very helpful. So watch these, I would recommend them. Very short, but very concise, but very insightful. Gives information to, well, the advantage that you get using Bookmap, understanding the order flow phenomena that Bookmap uncovers. Okay, there's all sorts of features and components in this playlist here, and then also some selected webinars. All right, well, let's jump into Bookmap. And what are we looking at? We're looking at the S&P E-mini. And here's the 9:30 cash open. Wow, look at this. This is pretty interesting here. So something must have happened here, not sure. So around 9:20 or so, it looks like a lot of algos switched on. Yeah, interesting stuff. This must have been some news or something. Anyway, and how do I know that, right? Well, we're looking at the heat map here, and I can see all this activity in the order book. And you can see all these are live. All these levels are live. I have full depth of market here. And you can see that all this liquidity starting to come in, okay, in the heat map. All right, previously you can see some activity here. Anyway, we'll cover all this and define it right now so you understand what you're looking at, okay? I'm going to close up some of our add-on indicators here, like a CVD subchart here, cumulative volume delta. I'm also going to close up our point of control, which is we like very much in the advanced webinars, this point of control indicator, POC, and then this VWAP indicator here. Okay, so let's just close those up for now. And our iceberg detector, I'm also going to close that. And we're just going to look at the 3 elements on this Bookmap chart, because those of you who are new are going to look at this and think this is, crazy. I can't read it. What is it? It doesn't make any sense. It's really straightforward data. In fact, this is very objective and complete data of understanding all of the order flow here. Okay, so very, very simply, we're going to take off all 3 of these elements, just these 3 elements, and I'm going to add them on one at a time so you understand what they are. Okay, so we're just looking at a blank chart right now. Okay, first element is best bid and offer. Okay, that's it. That's all we're displaying here. That's the first element. This vertical white line here separates the historical best bid and offer from the current best bid and offer. Okay, this is the current best bid and offer here, with the last traded volume is this number here. And this is our price ladder here, as you can see. All right, so it's just the best bid and offer going back and forward. Why is that an advantage? Well, because it's showing you truly all of the price action. Let's compare it to a candlestick. Okay, 5-minute candlestick chart. This is not showing you all of the price action. There's a problem here. It is showing you aggregated data within a 5-minute period. And that's where it really falls, because that falls short here, because you're only getting 4 data points every 5 minutes. Okay, open, high, low, and close. That's it. And what about all sorts of activity that happen in between? You don't have access to it. Okay, there's a beautiful little pullback here. I mean, move to the upside and a pullback and a continuation here to the upside. Okay, we need to get above the swing up here, but it's looking pretty good so far. Let's see if those buyers can step in, and maybe we can get back up into this area here around 78. Right, looking for a lot of stops to get triggered up there. Anyway, what I'm talking about here in this aggregated data, and why we're not showing aggregated data, is because we want to understand the structure. Okay, so structure, like look at this area of consolidation here. And then here's our breakout of that consolidation. We're going to see that there's going to be a lot of buyers here that lift the offer up out of this little area here. And we get retest back into where it broke from. Okay, it is now accepting above this structural range, right? Okay, so that's important information to understand. And we don't see any of that in this candlestick chart. Okay, that's what this is the kind of price action we want to understand, and we don't want something that gives us just partial information here, like the candlestick. All right, so we're really going to understand this is when we start to put on the other layers here. We'll start with just volume. Okay, and you can see, like I was just mentioning, see all the green dots here? Well, these are aggressive market buy orders. Okay, so the buyers are starting to step in. Okay, and they're moving price up out of this range here. Okay, there's about a lot of back and forth here in the volume, but we can see that the nice cluster of buying, right? And you can see even more up here in this area here. Okay, there's some selling in here too, but here's that string of buying that we're looking at. Okay, can everyone see that? Can you see that the buyers took control here and they swept the book higher, and now we get a pullback to this level here a couple times. Okay, we'll use the crosshairs here. Okay, actually we go a little bit lower to, and kind of test those areas here. But then look at over here, see how the buyers come right back in? Those buyers are in control, right? There's no question about it. Okay, that would be rather difficult and challenging to see that in the candlestick chart. Okay, you just don't get any of that information. You don't know where the volume is, how much traded, precisely where. And then you certainly don't get the volume within the structure. And those are all disadvantages. Okay, so now we've covered just 2 elements on the Bookmap chart. Okay, and let me zoom in. I'll just define these in very, very simple data here. Here it is in the best bid and offer. Okay, the best offer is the red line. The best bid is the green line. Okay, and then the volume dots here. Now these are aggressive market buy orders. Okay, this is the aggressor classification of volume. You can see they're lifting the offer. They crossed the spread. They paid up for it, and they took liquidity off of the best offer. Red dot is their sellers taking liquidity off of the best bid. It's just how the market works. Okay, if you want the precise data, you can use the data tip tool here. Like this volume dot here is for a volume of 40 on that 4th line of text. We can zoom in here, and we like I mentioned, we came out of that HFT environment, and we can see every single transaction that took place. Okay, we're down at microsecond level, millions of seconds, and we're showing you that this was actually volume of 17. We know that for fact, and we see that there's 5 transactions that took place. Okay, that's what unfolded here, right? Very precisely recorded. But when we zoom back out, look what we've done. We've just aggregated that into a bigger dot for a volume of 17. Okay, so you get all of the information, but this works on higher time frames, because once you start to zoom out and you start to look at this data, it just visually aggregates into a bigger dot, okay, and displays it, so you can use it. All right, those are the two elements. Now there's one third element, and let's cover that. That's the heat map. Okay, so what else is missing from order flow here? Okay, we've got volume, we've got the price structure, everything should be good. The issue here is we don't know where they're bidding and offering. Okay, let's take the candlestick chart off now, and let's go back to the current market. Okay, that bid and offer comes in the heat map. Okay, so let's just adjust this a little bit. The heat map, this orange, yellow, white, and blue heat map, all we're showing or displaying here is liquidity. Okay, it's all derived from the order book or the DOM. So again, let's zoom in here and let's look at this vertical white line. We know everything to the right of it is the current market. Here's our price ladder. And then the COB column, it stands for current order book. This is liquidity here. These are limit orders here for selling. They want to sell at these areas. Down below, they want to be buyers. What we do in Bookmap is we take this data from the DOM, these numerical values, and transform them into a heat map, okay, and give reference to these areas of high liquidity. Okay, the scale of the heat maps up here, red and orange is very high liquidity, then yellow, white, blue, and then black is the least amount of liquidity. So immediately I can look at the heat map and I know where the liquidity is. Okay, the majority of the bigger players. Okay, well, they're down here at this 70 level and they're up here at 77. Okay, and also at 78. 78 looks like the highest in the book. No, I'm sorry, it looks like 77 is the highest in the book here. Very close here, that's why they're still the same color. Okay, so that's all we do here in this window. Now you see these numbers change and the heat map changes. Okay, now the problem with the DOM, seeing the depth of market is good. The problem is though, when the numbers change in a regular DOM, you lose that information. Okay, you no longer have access to it. You have to remember it. What we do with the heat map is we record it and plot it on the chart. So now you can see where they're bidding, where they're offering, and we can start to understand all sorts of information here. Okay, we can understand their intent to trade at these areas. Did they get filled or did they pull that liquidity? A lot of traders will look at a DOM and they say, well, I don't really use the DOM because it's all fake liquidity anyway. They're always pulling at the last minute. And that is true, but it's not all fake liquidity. Look at this area here and we got filled. Right? Or these larger players are getting filled here. Actually, they're pulling a bit here, okay, the last second, and it looks like they, here's where they're transacting, see, at 72 and a quarter and 72 and a half. Okay, we know that because look how there's liquidity here. Some of it pulled, but you can see the transactions taking place into this liquidity as well. Okay, so we know that. So we just found some players that want to buy here, and they got filled. Okay, and we can see the reaction that occurred here. Okay, we found buyers. We found more buyers that read this or think that this is a deal, or there were sellers down here that are feeling the squeeze on the way out. It doesn't matter. We're identifying factually where they're getting filled. Okay, now this is just for this kind of recent historical data that we're looking at here. Okay, where Bookmap can be very helpful is not just for scalping and understanding some of the history here and intent to trade of these bidders and sellers, but we can zoom out and we can put this together on much higher time frames. Okay, so here's the entire day, right? And well, this is looking kind of convoluted today, to be honest, but we can even zoom vertically here, and all of these levels here are still live. Okay, so where's the majority of liquidity? Well, here it is. They were in the book here at 65 and 66, and we knew that before the cash open. Okay, or around this 9:21 area here, 9:21 Eastern time. We already knew that these guys were in the book. Okay, then these guys came in around 9:45, as you can see. And then what about on the offer? Where are they? Where are the big sellers? Well, they're up here at this 90 level, and then at this 97 level up here. Okay? Something happened here. Not sure what this is, but you can really see the reaction here. So it must have been some sort of geopolitical news or something. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, we know their positions. Okay, this is an advantage. You already have that information. Now we want to see when price goes into these areas, do they transact? Okay, we haven't gotten down to some of the bigger levels here yet. Okay, so still kind of waiting to see this play out a bit. And you can see we're just kind of channeling here. We're channeling where? Between areas of high liquidity. It's very typical. There are buyers or sellers up here between 77 and 78, and the buyers are down here around this 70 level. Okay. We found some buyers here. As we were looking at that candlestick chart earlier, we found the buyers in these little areas here. They bounced off of it again, and we're still holding that actually. You can see we're holding it kind of above this little area here. Okay, so we just need to get a little more insight here to understand what is going on here with price. Okay, and we'll see something. Something out of the ordinary will shift and occur. It might be maybe someone comes in with high liquidity. Okay, like in this area here, see how they were in here earlier, and we noted that they got filled in some of these areas here, and we saw the bounce. Well, they're back in there here again now at 72.50. Okay? We're really starting to understand the auction, and we're starting to see how they're pulling now. Okay, so let's see if the sellers can pick it up here. Right, looking for sellers to come in, and let's see if they can sweep the book lower into this 70 level. And now, what was their intent here? Okay, we saw them partially filled earlier. Now look at as price came down to them, what happened here? They pulled, right? So they don't really, these guys at 72.50 really don't want to trade. That's what we're reading so far. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it means that to find the real players, you've got to come down and test 70. Okay, so and right now, well, let's see if the sellers come in to test them, and we haven't really seen it yet. In fact, we're finding more and more buyers here. Okay, so yeah, here they come. They're going to lift the offer. See, look at these guys up here at 77. See how they're pulling? Okay, so they don't want to trade either. So it's got to go a little higher. It's got to go up to 78, maybe 81. Okay, so it's starting to shake out a little bit here. And we're just reading the auction. Okay, very simply. These larger players at these ends here, do they want to trade or not? What about the aggressor? Who's in control on the aggressor side? Well, we saw the buyers down here in control, okay, clearly. And we're still above that area. Okay, so they're still in control here. We have not found a lot of sellers down here, some, okay, but not a whole lot. And that's why we're going sideways at the moment. Let me bring down the dot size just a bit. Okay, here come the sellers. Now let's see if these guys pull again at 72.50. And we need to get down below the swing here at the 73 area here. Okay, but we're still just in the range right now. All right, see, look at this high liquidity that's coming in here at 75. Okay, so this is something different, right? We didn't really see that earlier. Now we're starting to see them come in here, and we're finding some buyers here, and these guys are pulling. All right, so let's go through this scenario. This is what we do in the advanced order flow webinar. We start to go through different scenarios of the meaning or putting this kind of market together, understanding the price action structure and order flow. Okay, look at them starting to add. They're getting interested now. They're adding even more in here down at 72.50. All right, now they're pulling at 75. Okay, so Now I'm looking for a scenario here. If we can get a little more volume up here around 75, buy volume, green dots, then I'm looking for this 77 to test. Okay, if we exhaust out, and we're starting to a bit, this is exhaustion, see the lack of transactions here, and we're finding sellers, okay, well then I'm looking for the sellers to hit down into 72.50. Okay, so that's the second scenario here, and that's the one that seems to be playing out at the moment. Still not, we're still in the range right now. We want to see the volume at these extremes here to give us insight. Okay, or lack of trading here, for example, with this exhaustion here. Okay, if we can get a little more volume here at 73.50 on the sell side, I think we can push into 72.50 and maybe below. Yeah, here they come. Here they come. There we go. All right, let's see them continue on here. Okay, they did not, they pulled the majority there. Look right at it, we know that. Okay, so let's see the sellers hit it again and try to get down to 70. And I'd love to see a skew in the book here on the offer. High liquidity, they're starting to come, see how they're coming in at 73.50 here. Okay, and what's the reaction on that? Do we find buyers? No, not really. So let's find more sellers and let's get down into 70. See how they're pulling now at 70 as well? So it's the doors wide open for them to hit the bid even further. Okay, now we marked up our line here. Okay, so that was where we were accepting above that line basically. So that's where we need to be a little careful here, because that's where the buyers kind of initiated this move here. So the sellers were able to bring it down to this line here, okay, that we're looking at and accepting above here. So we'll probably find some buyers we have already. We exhausted out a little bit here on the sell side, but let's see if the sellers can still come in here and push this lower. Here we go. There they go. Let's get down to the 70 level. And they're pulling at 70, so let's see them swing it down into what? Let's look at our bigger picture now. Where's the liquidity? We knew this data from several hours ago, down at 60, 66, 65. Right? Here's our breakdown. Okay, so I'm still looking for it to test lower into this high liquidity. Okay? Still looking for sellers. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. And let's see if we can come back up into the 70 level here. And then I'm looking for exhaustion on the sell side, on the buy side, and sellers to come in again. And let's try to get down into 66 and 65, because that's where the high liquidity is. They've been waiting all day. Anyway, this is the process we go through in the advanced order flow webinar. You understand now the elements on the Bookmap chart. You understand what we're looking at here. We're really starting to understand the order flow, true order flow here, not just traded volume. Okay, understanding what their intent is in the order book and in the auction. Putting that context together makes all the difference. Okay, so if you're a subscriber, we'll see you in the next webinar. It starts in just a minute. Else, we'll catch up with you guys. Not tomorrow. There is no webinar tomorrow. There's due to the death or passing of George H. Bush, that the markets will be closed. Okay, so we will catch up with you guys on Thursday. Okay, have a good day. Bye.